Hello, and welcome to Travel Stories Unpacked, the travel podcast where we talk about all things travel, from the silly to the serious and everywhere in between. I'm your host, Ashley Newton, and thank you so much for spending some of your time with us. We really appreciate it. For this week's episode, we are going to be talking about beach houses, and more specifically, what it is like when you are fortunate enough to own one or have access to one, because I just think that is so fascinating, and I cannot wait to dive into this topic. So our guest for this week is the wonderful Hannah Butler, who is a beach houser. So thank you, Hannah, for coming on to help shed some light on this vacation style.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be here, Ashley.
So Hannah and I work together as well, and through our various, little casual conversations, we discovered that we both love Oak Island. So Oak Island is this tiny, and Hannah is repping it today on her shirt. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see, us repping our love for Oak Island. And it is this tiny little place off the coast of North Carolina, but it's really far south. Like, it's only about 40 minutes from Myrtle Beach. Like, even though it's North Carolina, it's like right by the border there.
Yeah, and it's like 45 minutes from Wilmington. So it's kind of in between both of those.
So I am fortunate that I've been to Oak Island a handful of times now at this point, maybe like 3, maybe 4 times, and we've always done the beach house, and we always do it right on the sand. How you can have a beach house anywhere near the beach and that's a beach house, but to me, you want that sand access, you want that beach access. So I love it there, and the reason that I started going was through family friends that have been vacationing there forever. But before that, I had never really heard about it. So take me through why your family vacations at Oak Island and how you guys discovered this wonderful little gem of paradise.
Yeah, so my husband, his family is from the Charlotte, North Carolina area.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so actually we called him Pawpaw, but that is my father-in-law's dad. And it was actually around 1979 that Oak Island was like woods around that time.
Yeah, okay.
When he was little, they used to visit family near one of the other rivers near there, and he fell in love with fishing.
Okay.
So it was fishing, and back then Oak Island was known for fishing. Not so much more, but that's why that area was so special to Pawpaw and why he decided to build at Oak Island. So what was really fascinating is, this is crazy with the cost, but they had the opportunity to buy 5 lots back then for only $25,000.
Oh my!
Isn't that crazy?
Gosh. That I can't even fathom that. Yeah.
Well, and they had 4 kids, so I'm like, oh, perfect. Like, each kid could have had a house with their parent. Well, Mama was like, well, why do we need that many lots? So they chose a corner lot that's actually like 2 streets away from being a beachfront house.
Amazing.
But from the back patio, you can see the ocean. So it's a quick walk. You can smell it, see the ocean.
So does it have access to, because the way Oak Island is like a lot of these other small islands, you have the ocean beachfront, but then you also have like the river or like the canal. I don't know what it is, but like that other waterway going through.
Yeah.
So are you guys closer to that for fishing?
We're kind of in between the one river that, I don't know if you've ever walked by the river, and there's that bridge that's really pretty.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
But again, the family, like my father-in-law, they used to enjoy fishing in the ocean, but now they enjoy it more in the river. That's, again, it just depends. It kind of changes season, like what do I enjoy doing.
But at this point, when they're building the home, nothing's really developed on the island.
No.
Okay.
So back then, it's crazy how it was built. So they decided on that lot, and they put the pillars in. And outside of that was just woods.
Oh, wow.
So they built it themselves. And I was like, what? They took, 3 to 4 years. They needed to hire a plumbing and HVAC company.
Yeah.
But they framed it.
Shut up.
They put the windows in.
Any experience in this line of work, or were they just winging it?
Well, Pawpaw was a firefighter. So
Okay.
him and his crew would go, and then again he had 2 sons and then 2 daughters. So it was kind of like the family.
This is so wholesome.
Yeah,
like,
the
oh my
family
goodness.
put it. Now, granted, his kids were a little older, so like if they were married, they came and help. I know my mother-in-law at that time, they were pregnant with Tara, and believe me, they said when there was no plumbing yet or anything, they were like, we went in the ocean or the woods to, honestly, to keep building. So it's just, they would bring sleeping bags before the house was finished. So now it is a 3-bedroom, 2 full bath, and they have a shower downstairs.
Love that
as well, and the laundry's downstairs. But it's your typical beach house. You have an entrance to the back or front of the house. Both have porches.
Gotta have a porch. Gotta have a
rocking-
porch for a beach house.
Yes. You have to have the rocking chairs where you're just sitting,
Yes.
either watching the sunrise or
100%.
but the history of just listening to how this family beach house was built, and the reason was they just wanted another home away from home.
Yeah.
And it was relaxing. Obviously, from us going now, it's not woods where all those houses are now.
Yeah. So, but the amount of love and like truly like family essence that I think was poured into creating this home for your family is so unique and so incredible.
Yes.
But now I have to ask, because like one of my favorite things when I am there or any like beach town is looking at the fun little names for the houses. You know, like
geez.
they'll all have like these fun little unique names. Did you guys name your
Yes,
beach
and
house?
now I'm going blank, honestly, but you are right. They all have different names. I do not know the name of our beach house.
You're gonna have to let me know, and we'll add it to the comments because
We do,
I'm so
because that's
curious.
terrible. Out of my pages of notes I took from just understanding the family history, I forgot to ask the most important question.
The name
What's
of the
name?
beach house.
Because you do.
Yeah.
Do you guys like either walk or drive up the
Oh,
strip?
absolutely,
and
yeah. Yeah, we like getting a golf cart because, like, it's such a small, you don't really need your car.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So we'll get a nice little golf cart, and then you just drive around, and it's a small island, so you can drive around the whole thing in, like, 10
Do you
minutes
go,
or whatever.
like, now they have 2 grocery stores on the island. Do you go to Publix, Food Lion?
Okay, I think last time we went to Publix, and I was, like, in love with this grocery store. That sounds so stupid, but it was so clean, and I was like, this is also reasonably priced for an island. Like, I expected everything to be super marked up. We loaded up the golf cart with all of our groceries, and it was just a blast. So it has been in your husband's side of the family since before Oak Island was like a thing. You guys are kind of like founding fathers to me in a way. Like, that is so cool. But when was your first time going, and what was that like for you?
So actually, that was Blake, and he's my husband. That was our honeymoon trip from Mama and Papa when we got married.
How sweet.
So that was May 2010 was the first time that I was welcome into the Butler side of the family, and that's where we went on our honeymoon. So, and that is actually where we got our first dog, was from an animal rescue.
Oh my
there.
gosh, as if I could not love this place more. Like, oh my goodness.
I think we were laying on the beach, and May of 2010 was big. I graduated college, we got married, and then obviously we went in June or July, actually, was when we chose to go. And we're sitting there, and I'm like, all right, no more college roommates. Let's go get a dog. And then we were like, we definitely have to go to the animal rescue.
Oh, I love that.
So-
Yeah. Adopt, don't shop. You heard it here. So right off the bat, did you like go to beach houses as a kid, or was this your first time sort of having that sort of vacation experience?
So us Northerners, and a lot of people say, when I would vacation as a young child, it was always Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
That's where, oh my gosh, everyone, Myrtle Beach, where are you from? Ohio.
It's so true. It's
It
so
honestly-
true. Myrtle Beach and Florida. It's like those are the only two places. We just go down the coast, we stop at the beach, and then we're done.
So this was my first experience in a beach house. and it happens now that it's in the family. So it's really special. And honestly, now that I know a little bit more about the history and that it was really built by some of our family members, and now generations will be able to, fingers crossed, they've had been hit with hurricanes, but hopefully it can maintain the framework and stuff as the Butler family keeps growing.
So since it is this family asset in a way, what is it, how does that work dynamically within your family? Like, do you guys sort of timeshare it, or like, is it like, oh, well, this month is just open to these people, or how does that work if you wanted to stay at your beach house?
So they actually haven't changed a thing. Obviously, technology, it's electronic, but they have a calendar. So what they do, 3 out of the 4 children own the home. So those the 3 children still are the only ones that have access to the calendar, but it's really word of mouth also. So we do rent it out.
You do?
They do not,
okay.
Yeah, they do not use any outside company at all, but it's really which sibling you want to call. So obviously we would call Dad, and we see if it's on the books. Now the family, they know to avoid Oak Island definitely in July and August. But us Northerners are like, get us down there in the busy times.
Yeah.
So it's a shared calendar, and that's again how they say yes or no to renting it as well. It's crazy what word of mouth does, because the relationships there. Across the streets, they live there full time in their home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually really nice. It's like 3 stories, has like an elevator.
So nice.
But we've built that relationship with them.
Yeah.
And then there's friends down the road. And those friends, their father actually rents our family beach house for 2 weeks every year. We have, again, extended family that goes. If now any of my work people that I can trust and know, like,
careful
they're not
putting
gonna,
that out there.
it's more making sure everyone understands the value of the home, not trashing it. But
have you ever had any issues with either like renters or even people in the family, like just not respecting that level?
No, to my knowledge, there's never been any damage. Again, it's your nice, typical family-owned beach house. So if you're looking for something that's modern, you're not going to like our beach house. But it is your home away from home. It's the beach house. You're out the beach half the time, or you're at, I don't even know, Ashley, have you ever heard what the point in Oak Island is?
The Point?
They call it the Point.
I don't know. Tell me. I feel like I'm a teenager and I'm getting invited somewhere.
I don't know which street it curves off to, but they call it the Point, which up here, us Northerners, I kind of say it's your lake feel.
Okay.
It's the calming of the ocean. So they call it the Point, where if you just don't really want the waves and you just want more of a settle relaxation, people bring tubes, or you can kind of walk further out, and then there's your sandbar, and then some people do fish out there. Yeah. The one time, I think we brought our kids a few times, obviously, but the one time we saw like a dolphin, and I'm like, there's a dolphin over here?
Okay, so this is so crazy. So I want to say it was last time we were down there. I was, for a rare occasion, not in the water, because I'm usually in the water the whole time, but I happened to be out on the beach, and some of the younger kids, I shouldn't even call them that. It was like they were seniors in high school going off to college, I think. But they were in the water, and all of a sudden we see just this pod, and then I think in the end we decided they weren't dolphins and they were porpoises. But it's like the same thing, man. The dorsal fin, they're huge. Like, it's all the same to me. But you just see one and then the other, and they are literally in the water with these animals, and it was so crazy because they didn't even notice. Like, they didn't notice till they got out of the water, and we were like, "You guys are just swimming with dolphins," and they were like, "What are you talking about?" And we tried to show them on the grainy, cell phone. We're like, "Look, these were all dolphins just swimming around you." So, like, it is so crazy. And, I also used to vacation in Myrtle Beach as a kid. But difference between these areas, even though it's only 40 minutes, is pretty vast. Like, Oak Island still feels pretty untouched. So the nature there is really incredible, and that's also the place where I got to see the baby sea turtles hatch.
Yes.
And watch them scurry down to the water, and everybody was so respectful. Like, nobody had their flash photography out, because I didn't know this until I was talking to one of the nature people down there who, like, kind of guard the nests and make sure that the turtles are taken care of. But the turtles know how to get back to the ocean because they follow the light of the moon.
Oh.
So it's like that's their natural direction, telling them where to go, and that's how they, like, get swept back up in the water, which is also why at Oak Island, nobody has their, like, floodlights on the beach at night. Like, the beach is just pitch black.
It is.
So it really is like a perfect escape, like, from the nature and the calm and, you know, all the animals that you get to see. It's just unlike any other place that I've been.
Do you know you can, like, adopt a turtle?
No,
Yeah,
like a sponsor situation.
Yes,
sort
you
of?
can. So my sister-in-law, her and her husband, they have an area where that's who they adopted. So now Oak Island has areas so people know, don't mess with the turtles.
Yeah,
let
yeah.
them be until they make it back into the ocean.
Oh, that is incredible.
But you're right. The night walks, it's dark. And then one time we were there, and I don't know the full story, but my father-in-law talked to me about alligators. And I freak out about everything, especially now that I'm a mom. You're just like, everything is like, what? So the one time where they were going on a walk, I'm like, I am not going out by getting eaten by an alligator. And it was more because they were
Did you even see an alligator? Or?
No.
It was just the threat, the ominous presence.
It really was. But so I was really nervous that summer to walk the streets because of that story, because where they were going was more, again, by the quieter waters.
Yeah, more like marshy.
Yes, the marsh. But also actually by the marsh area, and that they do have, it's really cool, again, a pop-up free library for people
that's fun,
that are reading. We know when you're on the beach, you love reading, and then just share it with somebody else. But you do at night, you just see people just walking, taking nighttime, and it's quiet. I will say where our house is at, you are not hearing loud partying.
No,
not
it is
not.
Happen, it's not like a spring break party beach vibe at all. At least the places that, you know, that we've stayed. Now, granted, like we're saying, it's a small island, but I've stayed on like this side of coast or this side of coast. It's not like, oh, the more south you go, it's more of a party vibe. It's very serene, night and day in all the areas. So, you know, but for me, I really like that because it's not like somebody's going to come, especially midday, and tell you, oh, don't play these games on the beach or anything like that. Like, everybody's just very happy to sort of mind their own business in a way, and everybody's very respectful of, like, well, now it's quiet and it's dark and we're all, like, doing our thing. And last time we went, of course, you know, the beautiful porch, and you want to still be out, so I brought my movie projector, and we downloaded a bunch of, like, beachy themed movies. So of course we're watching Jaws and Overboard and like we thought we had Friday the 13th because it was going to be Friday the 13th when we were down there, but it was not the original. It was like the remake with Jared Padalecki, and there was like 13-year-old kids there, and I was like, this is rated R, and it's very rated R for a reason. And I go to all the parents and I'm like, should we just shut it down? And they're all like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, have you seen the movie? And they're like, we're not worried about it. And then later they come out and they're yelling at me because it's like a horrible scene. I mean, very graphic, very not safe for work sort of content. And then they're like, why are you letting them watch this? I was like, dude, I told you. I went and I told you, these are not my kids. This is 100% your decision if you want them to stay out here for this movie. So then that was a bit of like drama. And I was like, man, I'm just trying to watch movies on the beach. Like,
that is really cool. I've never.
Oh, I really recommend it. You can get them off Amazon for like $100. Like,
really?
Yeah. I mean, ours is a little damaged from the salt and the sea and like all the moisture down there.
Yep.
But I use it for only outside movies anyway. So for me, I'm all about it.
And you bring up about the air with the salt.
Yeah.
That's why if people ever notice why everything's made out of wood, you want to avoid the steel, the metal, because that's why things rust. Just like what the electric box, they literally actually 2 days ago had to replace that just because of all the salt. It just rusted out, and they were like, this isn't up to code. You gotta do this.
So how does, because nobody in the family is staying at your beach house all the time, right? It's just a vacation home.
Yeah.
So how does the maintenance work for something like that? Like,
well, again, they have like their plumbing company that we've known for years. They have a certain HVAC company. So again, is maintenance a little bit more expensive? Absolutely. It's companies trying to survive in an island atmosphere.
right.
Obviously, you're not going to see 20 different HVAC companies there, but they go down and fix things themselves. They recently had to paint the whole house. The siblings have really done well. They know how much it typically, with taxes, insurance, and odds and ends, how much it costs about a year, and they always make sure that's covered. So again, when I said they're not here to make money off of renters, even the 3 siblings, when they go, they pay the family rate.
I love that.
And it's more because water is super expensive there. Because obviously water has to be ran and sanitized all year round.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
So, like, when he was telling me that about water, I'm just like, oh my gosh, at a beach house, we're always using water. We're showering downstairs to get the sand off, then we're going upstairs. How many showers do you take when you go there in a day? Sometimes I was taking like 2 or 3.
Well, and then you have all the kids, and then I assume because, you're there with your whole family that you're cooking meals in the beach house as well. So then there's that water usage. So yeah, that's a really good point.
And then talking about food, Ashley, is, again, before Oak Island is what we know of the island today, is, again, when people were still building their homes, there was one grocery store, but there really wasn't the different seafoods and different restaurants that are now, like, there's a really good Thai place there now, Mexican, a handful of seafood restaurants, but they've only been there for less than a decade.
Yeah.
So what I'm going back at is, yes, you do cook a lot. Again, if you're a fisher, it's fresh fish sometimes. What they loved doing is, during the day, you'll, like, my kids would see their uncle or their pa always have that. Again, I'm not a fisher, everybody, but they have whatever you stick your fishing pole in, and they're just
so fishing. It can just stay in the sand.
Yeah. So, and one time they caught a baby shark, and that was it for me. I was like, all right, I'm getting out. You're telling me, I know Mama or Papa somewhere near this baby shark. So we made sure we unhooked, make sure we didn't hurt the baby shark, and we made sure we got it back in the water. But it's crazy what you find. So when you're like, oh, I'm in the water, I only go a little bit in the water. If I can't see it, I'm good. Again, I'm trying not to go out by a shark either.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, the one time, I don't know, my son was young and myself, we got sun poisoning. So I felt so bad the first day. My lip blew up, and that's why I kind of brought this hat. I found this hat, and I was literally like this.
Just trying to protect your face from the sun. Oh my goodness.
And that never happened again. I went to school down south. I was 30 minutes from Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
So I don't know why my son and our lip blew up.
Oh my gosh, though, that's awful. How long did it last? Like, were you able to get any relief? Was there anything you could do?
Not much. Honestly, we just got some medication and everything, but it was really avoid the sun. So honestly, at that time, we kind of stayed back a little bit more than what we would have liked out in the sun.
Yeah.
And then if I did go out, I was literally covering my face or holding a towel in front of me.
Oh my gosh, I would be so mad. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, and I've never got sun poisoning where it was like visible. I've had like heat stroke or whatever I assume is similar to that, which hopefully I'll share when we eventually talk about Las Vegas, because so many opinions there. But I have traveled when we were at Oak Island with one of the kids, because when we go, it's sort of like somebody else's family vacation, but we just like tag along because we love them. So we're just like, hey, thanks for letting us like crash your family vacay. But one of their kids essentially is like very sensitive skin, and the sand just tears him up, and the sun tears him up. So like he'll spend a lot of time like trying to do the things and play in the sand and play in the water, but a lot of times he has to go up like to the room. So we've always really enjoyed like the other amenities. Like I love getting a beach house with a pool. That is so important to me because I love to night swim, and I'm not doing that in the ocean. That is so dumb to me. Like, get out of the ocean at night. What is wrong with you? But like I love doing laps. I love diving, and like of course hot tubs are always a good time. We've gotten a beach house where they had a little mini putt on like,
oh really?
Yeah, because you know how like a lot of beach houses like they're risen. So like in the under area where you like park your cars and stuff, they had like a little putt course. They had like all these games inside. So like for our group, it's nice to have stuff like that for the people that can't handle being outside as much, and you still feel like you are getting the most out of your vacation.
Absolutely.
So that's something I think that is really beneficial if you're looking into a beach house. And I will say, for me, I always thought, I mean, nobody's going to get that $25,000 deal for 5 lots.
When they said that, I was like, oh my gosh.
79.
Yes.
But to me, it's always seemed like really like, okay, that's lottery money. Like, not everybody can afford a beach house. But then I started watching Beachfront Bargain Hunt on HGTV, and I was like, oh my God, could this happen for me someday? Like, could I do this? And to me, of all the places I've been, Oak Island is still probably where I would want to go. It's the only other place I've thought about like living full time. But have you been just a little bit north of Oak Island to Southport?
Yeah, yep.
Everybody, if you go to Oak Island, everybody makes at least a day trip to Southport. It's right. It's the cutest little town. I love it so much. Like, I love it there.
Shopping.
Yes, I just love it. It looks like just like untouched by time, but there's this restaurant there called Fishy Fishy, and it is like a pretty like well-known fast food restaurant. It's not fast food at all. It's a fish place, but it is like so good. So I dragged my family there last time. Well, my boyfriend and my mom. And I was so excited because Southport is really big in filming locations as well. And obviously I'm really into TV and movies and stuff. So we went to Fishy Fishy because it's in this show I used to watch called Revenge. And I was so excited. I was like, I am on a film set. Like, this is crazy. So, of course, I get, like, what they're famous for. And then Nate, my boyfriend, gets a burger. I'm like, I take you to this fancy... And he loves seafood. And I still drag him for this to this day. I'm like, why do you order wrong? Like,
why? Was he just wanting a burger?
Yeah, it was just like, I don't know. It just looks good. I'm like, you are at a very well-known fish restaurant. You can see the water. So I just, like, gave him so much trouble for that decision. But I think that's the nice thing, too, when you go to the same place, you do get to explore and get to know the whole area. Because I was always against the idea of a beach house, not only because I thought it was too expensive, but I was like, oh, there's so much world to see. So I don't necessarily want to go back to the same spot. So for you and your family, is that sort of the only place you vacation, or do you still make it a point to take your kids other places?
For specifically, like, my husband's side of the family, that's where they go. Yeah. His sister and her husband, I can't even keep track how many times they take advantage of it, because for them, it's less than a 4-hour drive. Oh. So that is, like I said, it's a home away from home for them. So they go. Last year, I just know this because it was my son's 10th birthday. It was the beginning of December, and it was 70 degrees there. Amazing. So my mother and father-in-law were there, and I'm just like, well, if it's going to be 70 again in 2024, we're going there, Max, for your birthday. Yeah. But so for the Butler side, that is where they go when they are taking time off work. My father-in-law is about to retire, so he's hoping to spend more time. But again, he does his annual fishing trip. He has a boat, so he's invested because that's what gives them joy. Now for specifically myself, we have 4 children. We do a lot of travel sports, so we are right now in the crazy of it all. People like to say, like, one day it'll pass. So we don't get to go there as much. Again, though, the drive's further, obviously, from here to down there.
It's a hike.
It's not a bad drive. It's just long. I don't know how long it takes you guys. For some reason, I'm like, it's like over 11 hours for us. So it can't just be a quick weekend. But the memories our kids have, even the few times they have gone, is just something special that they can hold on to. And then knowing that this will stay within the family, they know, oh, I can go there. Like, I was just out with some girlfriends and we were talking about, do we want to go to the beach house? And I said, it's there. Now, like you said, again, you guys found a beach house that fits your needs with who you're traveling with. Mm-hmm. This one, like we all say, it's your typical beach house. There is no pool. It is the house with your kitchen, dining room, living room, and the bedrooms and stuff. And there's games they built up, puzzles. But again, you're not...
Puzzles!
It's puzzles.
I love puzzles.
But it's just neat. Like you said, it's... Myrtle Beach is your touristy area.
It is more commercial for sure.
And Oak Island does
Which
not.
There's nothing wrong with that, though. I do want to say, like,
not.
it's just the experience that you want.
Yes, it's what are you looking for? And this one, you don't have hotels.
True, that's true.
It is. It's...
Well, that's so awesome. And I wish you wouldn't have put out there, hey, my coworkers can use my beach house, because now I'm just... The wheels are turning, and I'm scheming, and I'm like, how can I get there? Because it's a wonderful place. It is definitely, going way back to episode 1 of Travel Stories Unpacked, an R&R destination. That's a vacation destination where you get to fully recharge. So
yes.
I hope that you guys have a blast the next time that you're able to go. Are you going to try to go later in the year?
Well, we were thinking maybe, but again... It just books up. So it really depends. Like, if you're thinking you want to go, it's like you should maybe think November, December, what you may like.
True.
Now, granted, October through April, May, obviously, is random people booking, but that's more family just wanting to go away. But May through August really is packed. So, again, we were thinking of a girls' trip. To go, but we'll see if it happens in September.
Well, good luck on your girls' trip either way. That's all I'll say. If you haven't watched the girls' trip episode, go give it a listen. Drop your thoughts and let me know. Let me know what you think. Well, Hannah, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your beach house tales. I just love the history of your home, and I feel like I learned more about one of my favorite places, so that's awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ashley.
And if you have a beach house somewhere that you think is better than Oak Island, I challenge you to drop it in the comments, because I'll go to bat for this place, but also I would just love to know where your favorite place to vacation is, or your opinions about beach houses in general. So please share your stories with us in the comments or anywhere on social media using hashtag Travel Stories Unpacked. And don't forget to keep coming back on Friday mornings for new episodes, new guests, new opinions, and all the good travel stuff. This podcast is brought to you by KHM Travel Group, which is a leading host agency for independent travel agents. So head on over to khmtravel.com to learn more.